Everyone needs to know that ICE is disappearing Bhutanese refugees at a really scary pace right now. They're suddenly snatching people up in states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, and New York, and deporting them to Bhutan, the very country that ethnically cleansed their community. We're talking about Nepali-speaking Bhutanese people who immigrated to America as lawful refugees after being persecuted by the Bhutanese government in the 80s and 90s. Back then, the Bhutanese regime arbitrarily stripped them of their citizenship and labeled them illegal immigrants, even though most had lived there for many generations. Well over 100,000 Nepali-speaking Bhutanese people were denied their rights, torn from their homes, and forced out of the country. Many ended up in 7 different refugee camps in Nepal where conditions were inhumane. And when the US offered humanitarian relief, thousands resettled here and got green cards, with many eventually becoming American citizens.
Originally from Bhutan, Jahal spent 20 years in a Nepal refugee camp where he said food was limited and shelter was poor. But Jahal isn't suffering anymore. On Tuesday, he joined 68 others at Castleton University in gaining his American citizenship.
They consider America their forever home. But in just the past few weeks, over 60 Bhutanese refugees have been detained by ICE. From what we last heard, roughly 20 refugees have been flown to India and then forced across the border into Bhutan, where they face persecution and expulsion. Eventually, all 20 were rejected by Bhutan and forced through India into Nepal. We know at least 4 people are now in police custody in Nepal. All others are missing, leaving their families terrified and desperate for answers.
We don't know if they are safe, we don't know if they died, we don't know if, what happened. How is it happening? We came here legally.
These refugees are now stateless again, caught between governments unwilling to offer refuge. Bhutan disowned them, Nepal is taking them into custody, and the US, which once offered safety and freedom, is turning its back. There's still a lot we don't know because ICE isn't being transparent, but we do know most of the targeted refugees have green cards and have lived in America for many, many years. Some have had run-ins with the law but served their time, and ICE says they're being targeted for this reason. But let's be clear, regardless of someone's record, it's still not an excuse to disappear them and put them in dangerous situations without adequate due process and without any regard for their safety or human rights. Historically, it has not been normal for the US to deport immigrants to countries that will persecute them or deny their existence. That's because, up until now, the US has agreed that doing so goes against our laws and our fundamental human rights. But Trump and his loyalists are doing it anyway, because they want to get rid of immigrants of color as quickly as possible without due process. And they don't care one bit about anyone's safety or humanity. If we don't act now, countless more families will be torn apart, lives will be at risk, and our shared rights will erode even further. That's why we need you to contact your representative and tell them to demand Trump stop these deportations and immediately release and return the Bhutanese refugees. We're also working with Asian Refugees United, an organization that's actively helping impacted Bhutanese refugees and their families. If you want to donate to support their work, go to our link in bio.